Okay, so this is going to be my reflection slash overview of Section 5.1. It's pertaining to domestic and international business. And it's titled 5.1a, The Meaning of International Business. So if you don't have the book, this will be a resource. I will dictate section by section for my particular course. Like I said, if you are in a taking a 200 level community college course to satisfy a degree for business, this will help you for this chapter because this is the material that my professor gave me. If you're in a higher level, a 300 or 400 level business course, this will not be, you could probably still use it, but they'll probably have a little bit more in depth on the topics, obviously. All right, so let's get back to it. The meaning of international business. One of two. A domestic business. A domestic business acquires all of its resources and sells all of its products or services within a single country. So that's your local hair salon, your restaurant, maybe your auto body shop, something like that. Obviously, international business is based in a single country, but acquires a meaningful share of its resources and or revenues from other countries. That's your bigger conglomerates. Like, I wouldn't call it a conglomerate. They kind of only deal mostly one thing. So let's say Walmart, Lowe's, and Starbucks. All right, section 5.1a, 2 of 2, multinational business. That probably more of a conglomerate. Multinational business has a worldwide marketplace from which to buy raw materials, borrow money, where it manufactures its products, and to which it subsequently sells its products. Coca-Cola and Ford. Just a little tidbit, Ford actually has a location or has a product line exclusive to Australia. A lot of old Mel Gibson movies have this. I think it's a Ford Maverick or whatever. We didn't get them here, but over there they got them. So everyone thinks of Ford as all American, but they definitely had a product line in Australia. Okay, the next section is a global business, transcends national boundaries and is not committed to a single home country. Okay. This program moves a little slow. Okay. So we got a figure that kind of describes the level of international activity. It starts, the lowest is domestic business, then international business, then multinational business, and then the highest level of international activity would be a global business. It's figure 5.1. 5.1b, trends in international business. After World War II, the United States dominated global markets. War-torn countries had to rebuild from scratch. Rebuilt countries were poised for growth while U.S. companies became complacent. Increased population and affluence meant consumers wanted new and better products. Foreign products began flooding the U.S. market and companies had to compete. If you look and see, everything's made in China, especially electronics. Chips during the COVID, that was a big crippled us on an economic level, or it was a huge blow to the American economy, was the chip reduction. We couldn't get chips in. They were something that we import. So that hurt the used car market. It's a ripple effect. Another course that I will probably reference during these dictations, I will probably make some side notes. I'll start doing it. Maybe this chapter I won't, but maybe the following chapter I'll add that in. I'll reference some of my different economic textbooks and different academic books I have to kind of tie all these topics together. I think it helps, to get a big picture. All right, let's get back to it though. So, if I didn't say importing, I don't remember, but I'm going to read importing. Bringing a good service or capital into the home country from abroad. Advantage, easy to enter the market with small outlay of capital. No need to adapt the product to local conditions. The disadvantages are taxes, tariffs, higher transportation expenses, and products may not satisfy the needs of large segments of market. Some products may be restricted. Maybe the Nissan Skyline GTRs from back in the late 90s would be a good example of this. Cost too much to import them into America, so they didn't sell them here. Four-wheel drive. I'm a car guy. So it was a four-wheel drive, twin-turbo sports coupe. Some had 6 speeds, depending on the model we got, and we just didn't get them here. And they said it was because of tariffs. Yeah, that's how it works sometimes. 51C, managing the process of globalization. This is section 2 of 3. Licensing. Licensing is an arrangement whereby one company allows another to use its brand name, trademark, technology, patent, copyright, or other asset in exchange for a royalty based on the sales. The advantage of this are profitability and extended profitability. Disadvantage is inflexibility. Also, licensees can take the knowledge and skill and exploit them in the firm's home market, making the partner a competitor. Next section is strategic alliance. This here is a cooperative arrangement between 2 or more firms for mutual gain. Examples of this are airlines, Disney movies, and food producers. Strategic alliance is a big part of the business world. I don't need to tell you that, though. If you're here and you listen to this channel, you have an interest in these topics. So, next section's 51C. Managing the process of globalization. This is section 3 of 3. Joint venture. A joint venture is a special type of strategic alliance in which partners share in the ownership of an operation of an equity basis. The advantages: quick entry into the market through utilization of existing strength, access to technology or raw materials, shared risk and costs of new ventures. Disadvantages: shared ownership, limited control. I have a resource that I'm interested in Southeast Asia that I think has a market here in America. And if I had the resource made there, brought over here, stored here, and sold in this market, that would be an example of a small, tight example of globalization. Well, the best I'm going to explain it to you. The next is direct investment. When a firm headquartered in one country builds or purchases operating facilities or subsidiaries in a foreign country. Now, this is a Spanish word, maquiladores, which is light assembly plants in northern Mexico given tax breaks by the Mexican government. So that's something interesting. I did not know about that, and that's kind of cool that they have developed their own unique thing. All right, so we have a question at the end, discussion question 1. Some products that are made in one country fail completely when exported to another. For example, box cake mixes were unsuccessful in some Asian countries, and toothpaste was unsuccessful in some developing countries. Why do you think these products failed? What could have been done to help ensure their success as an import-export product? So if you guys want to ponder that, I will probably at some point in time download a PDF version of this. It will be posted to my website. The website link will be posted to this YouTube channel. And if you are interested in the Chapter 5 material, I will have that available as a resource for my subscribers. That's what the big homie does. It's important, I think it's a good way to pass knowledge and help. If I can help somebody with a resource, we're definitely trying to do that. All right, so now we move on to section 51D, competing in a global market. Okay, the functions are the same, whatever a firm's level of international involvement. Complexity increases for international firms. Local firms must compete with multinational with aggressive globalization goals. Complexities are greater for managers in international firms. The bigger you are, the harder it is. That's what I'm getting out of that. The key question is whether to focus on globalization or regionalism. Most MNCs use both global and local resources and activities. Okay, so we got our first knowledge check. What is the advantage of licensing for a company? I believe the answer is A, increased profitability. And I was correct. It's increased profitability. But 2 advantages of licensing are increased profitability and extended profitability. This strategy is often used for entry into less developed countries where older technology is acceptable and, in fact, may be state of the art. This is us talking about that other country. A primary disadvantage of licensing is inflexible. A second disadvantage is that licensees can take the knowledge and skills to which they have been given access for a foreign market and exploit them in the licensing firm's home market. When this happens, what used to be a business partner becomes a business competitor. So we move on to the next table, advantages and disadvantages of approaches to internationalization. Like I said, this is my first personal academic video. So if I stumble a little bit, bear with me as I kind of get my bearings. You guys are here with me from the beginning, so hopefully I don't make too many mistakes as this channel develops. And I hope I do a lot more speaking and maybe even get some feedback from you guys, kind of the topics, what you'd like to see, what you think is important, or maybe what you're interested in. Okay. So, having said that, let's move on to Table 5.1, Advantages and Disadvantages of Different Approaches to Internationalization. Approach to internationalization. So, the first is importing or exporting. The advantage is small cash outlay, little risk, no adaptation, necessary. The disadvantages, tariffs and taxes, high transportation costs, and government restrictions. When I gave that example about the Nissan, that Nissan Skyline. The next approach to internationalization is licensing. Increased profitability, extended profitability. The disadvantage is inflexibility and competition. The next section is strategic alliances and joint ventures. Quick market entry is an advantage. Access to materials and technology is an advantage. The disadvantage is shared ownership, limited control, and profits. The last section or last category would be direct investment. The advantage is enhanced control, existing infrastructure. The disadvantage is complexity, greater economic and political risk, greater uncertainty. Okay. All right, so that is the end of section 5.1. I'm going to get set up, and then we're going to move into section 5.2a.